processed by Border Patrol agents. And then out in the eastern part of my county in the remote desert, there's over 28,000 getaways that they know of for sure. There could be more. That's the impact for Yuma Sector Border Patrol, which is either the second or third smallest Border Patrol sector in the whole for U.S. Border Patrol. So they're running maybe 800 agents that had to handle over 310,000 people. There's the border right there.
Where? Oh, the fence is up there.
Yeah.
What I was told in South Texas was the fence isn't going to stop anyone. 32-foot fence, 33-foot ladder, whatever, right? But it makes it easier for Customs and Border Protection to deal with it because they can set up the infrastructure on the on the fence. You can see where people are all pinching together to go over, whatever. It's Is that your understanding of it, or
it's a deterrent. And yes, they 32. Do use ladders, but ergo, you have cameras, you have sensors, but it does slow down that criminal element so that Border Patrol can actually respond and get there to be able to apprehend. And it keeps individuals from impacting our farmers. When most people hear Yuma, Arizona, they think of desert. What you need to understand is Yuma County supplies the whole of the United States 90% of your winter leafy greens. When you have these gaps in the fencing that were stopped, it's just an open area and it funnels the cartels. This is one of the crossing points, is right down here. And there's where it impacts our farmers because those individuals were going into those fields and defecating and the trash was being left there. As a farmer, because of food safety, you can't harvest that area. It's now contaminated.
What do?
They just have to plow it under. So where we're at here is Morales Dam. Obviously, United States, Mexico, right across the river. Cartels designated this as one of the crossing points. So you can see along that where that pickup is at, there's a little road that goes down. So they get off at the airport, Mexicali, take their Uber, bus, cab,
Get off at the airport?
Yeah, they all fly into Mexicali. Everybody that's coming here is flying in.
They're not doing the long, hard journey through the country?
No, none of these folks are doing that. They're flying in. Some of these countries, they have to manipulate airports according to whether or not that country requires a visa. Some of the Russians were going out through Dubai and other countries to make it all the way into Cabo. They'd spend a couple weeks in Cabo, and then they would fly into Mexico City, then into Mexicali. So all these different 140 plus countries, they're all educated enough to figure out how to get from airport to airport.
I love xQc back check.
So 310,000 have crossed this area of the river corridor from here, between here and about 8 miles.
You guys down here were putting storage containers, right?
Right, the governor.
To block the gaps here?
Right. They pulled all the containers out because finally this administration has decided that they need to finish this portion because of the sheer amount and volume of people coming in here illegally.
So this fence is going to be built here soon?
They're supposed to be contracted out to put in the rest of this gap, but not all gaps, and I'll show you that out. So they just walk off the bus, walk down that little trail right there, come across right here. So you're not even getting wet.
And then who gets them here on the Arizona side?
Border Patrol.
That's so interesting. So they want to get caught.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's what we call give-ups. These are individuals that those countries won't take them back. So
like the Russians won't take them back?
No. WHO Miguel is the guy.
So once they
claiming asylum because they're coming from a country of violence.
Okay, so once they get in, Customs Border Protection takes them in, processes them, and then they have an asylum court hearing.
Well, they're given a notice to appear wherever they're going in the U.S. You got to have a sponsor.
Okay.
So, and I picked up pieces of paper showing addresses within the interior of the United States, Wisconsin, New Jersey, where that's where they're going.
What's your understanding of the backlog right now when they have to appear in that state?
Before this administration came along, the backlog, as we understood it, was anywhere from 7 to 11 years because they had over 11 million illegals that were still pending.
Who's racist? Who's anything at all?
Hearings.
He's going the other way. He's going to Mexico. Oh, there we go.
Bro, who the fuck said what?
Big nose.
Otto!
Peeper flap.
Is he?
Okay, the one guy went through the gap. This guy's swimming right now.
See him?
Chat. This is best before October
Swimming
23.
into the reeds.
I mean, these are pretty old already,
Literally,
right?
guys, we've been down here just 10 minutes or so.
Well, he's just swimming. Where is he going?
He's still walking that way.
Is he on land?
No, he's in the water. Yeah.
Where
I'm
is
watching
bro
him.
going?
You get the other one? Just two?
Just two.
Okay.
So I thought it would have been a nighttime thing, but it's all time.
All day
huh?
long, every day. So these are the ones that are the getaways.
So this guy will go back, hide in the reeds, wait
Yeah.
a while, and then
Yeah, and he'll come back.
he doesn't want to get caught, though.
No.
Why doesn't
So,
he want to get caught?
Probably because he's either prior deport or he's got a criminal history. You just heard him laughing. He thinks it's funny. It's all a game.
It's just cat and mouse.
Yeah.
What is this?
Not too bad. It's hard to explain, guys. A very surreal part of the country. And until you see it firsthand, I know the video does a bit of capturing it, but here's the opportunity, and many people want the
Yeah.
opportunity. Very understandable. Why
At this point,
why wouldn't you want to go where the opportunity is? I mean, I don't, like I've
Yo.
brother, what is wrong with you? Brother, what is wrong with you? What is this take? Like, what? I understand that there are terrible places and fucking and conditions in a bunch of places that make it very difficult, but sometimes there's a way to go about it that's still like, brother. I mean, it's true, brother. I mean, careful.
always said,
What can you do? Just let the whole stack, just everybody go in and boom. That's not how the world works. You need help. Get some help.
I would do the same thing if I was
Get some
living
help.
in poverty
That's not how that
or
works
a
at
terrible
all.
Situation. I would go for the U.S. But as an American, I want the legal process to be respected,
Well,
and we should know everyone who's coming in our country.
Brother,
Right?
Yo.
he's coming up beside you.
You ever see that one leave the pond?
what the fuck is this fucking libtard brain rot? That's like saying a bank robber. Well, dude, they're poor.
Hope you're doing
Yeah,
well.
he's going. He's
Have a
already
good day,
over
man.
and working his
What?
way up towards the other side.
You sprinted pretty hard there.
I did. I'm out of breath. I need to start like running.
Did you catch the other one?
Yeah, the second one was up by the train tracks.
Like, what is
was
that
it?
then?
Okay.
Put you down as the your sister.
How am I corny?
Well, at least you caught the one.
How am I
that was
corny?
getting away.
It's still a
Yeah, I
crime.
get it, but I mean, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What's the threshold
Oh,
of dealing with it?
right. There,
This country
there is
cannot.
a threshold.
We
of course.
cannot afford to take care of all these other countries' issues.
Right.
I mean, right now, you look at the massive amount
Love you,
This guy's
XQC
dumb.
and
This
chat.
guy's kind of brilliant though. Okay, no.
of money being spent each and every day by this administration dealing with this. So you look at one tent to house individuals, just to sleep in it, is about $4.5
Wow.
million a month. Okay.
What do you mean?
One tent.
Oh, one of these big tents.
One of these
Facilities?
big tents that you see
Yeah.
on the news, 4.5 million. Now the other tents are about 6.5 million because
The mentality is too broad. Okay. Yes. Okay. You don't have to fix every country, what the fuck, right? But there's still there. You can still open up programs and things for people to immigrate legally that help people that seek either asylum or a better place to live. That's it. They can still widen and broaden these things so that it makes more sense. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, guys, I come from Quebec. Okay, we've had massive waves of immigration, shit like that. You know, dude, that is not much of a problem. People integrate properly. Okay, most people in my class that spoke French from Haiti or fucking from all the Middle Eastern countries, you know, they spoke better French than all of us. That's the reality of it.
that's where they have to cook the food and feed the folks. And then you look at the fact that they got laundry services so they can get their laundry done. And the fact that Border Patrol each and every day has to buy food and clothing to clothe these individuals. When does it stop? It's 16 million a month for HHS just to deal with the unaccompanied children that come across. That's your tax dollar and mine.
But we don't have any problems in this country, so we have plenty of money to spend.
Well, if you live in a bubble, you don't have a problem, but we deal with reality
we got it
here.
all figured out here. No issues in America. The video you're watching right now is 55 minutes long, which means that 3/4 of the original footage didn't make the cut, either because it was too long or too controversial to be on YouTube. This happens quite often. That's why I've decided to produce an extra month peek of the... Do you think neither...
Watching this area.
Oh, these guys down here. There he sees them. And I'll also produce some bonus episodes that won't be available here. I'll leave my Patreon link in the pinned comment below where you can get full access.
Guys, I look in chat now, man. Come on, then.
Because there's so many coming across and they were going out into these farm fields and defecating and littering, the county had to put up these porta-johns at certain locations so that they wouldn't go out in the fields and contaminate
Okay, well, poo-poo, I'm pretty sure is fertilizer, isn't it?
the farm fields. Why is the county having to pay that bill?
Right.
The federal government has already said
No, okay.
that immigration is their
My bad,
sole
sorry.
responsibility, right? They've said that. Why aren't they paying their bills? There are things in law enforcement called ethics, integrity. I don't get that out of Mayorkas at all.
Okay, and for those that don't understand who Mayorkas is, he's...
It's the Secretary of Homeland Security. His
Yep.
sole responsibility is the safety and security of this country, and he's failing miserably. So here's all the fencing
Okay.
that's just been sitting here. All this fencing that was bought by taxpayer money, just sitting there collecting dust.
Did you just compare immigrating
down
from
here
Canada
now.
to immigrating from Mexico? Do you understand what Mexico is like in certain areas?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. And you're not giving up. Whenever you bring up a problem, you're not bringing up an alternative. What is the alternative then? Fuck the programs that give you immigration. Fuck the ways to do it properly. Fuck the ways of immigrating the right way and talking to the country and getting a visa or green card. Fuck all that. Might as well just fucking leave everybody in. What even is this fucking mindset? You are a dumb fuck, brain rot, black mold libtard stuck in this fucking utopian world where the fucking you can do what the fuck you want and there's no repercussions. You need to stop living in that fucking utopia, you fucking black mold brain.
I was showing him all the areas where they're cutting the fence and stuff
Christ,
like that.
man.
So,
They're cutting this with what, a blowtorch?
they'll use the combination of wheel, because they use the battery operated angle grinder, and then they'll cut the metal and then they have to chisel out the concrete because
Jesus
each one of
Christ, bro.
those
You're my
posts has
fucking
concrete
mother with you,
in
man.
them. Stay safe, brother.
Okay, so someone might hear you got the fence, but they can cut a hole in it, so why have the fence?
Again, it's a deterrent. B, the amount of time it takes them to be able to cut this
Yeah.
gives the
I'm
Border
a
Patrol the
citrus
ability
farmer
to come
in
down
California
here and
and we get
intercept.
huge
So when you
fines
see
even
parts
for
of the
koi
fence
poaching
that
and
have
other wild animal feces that we
that
can't
patch
control.
on it,
Okay, right
Makes sense,
there.
makes sense.
that's where they have cut right above that piece, and that's allowed them the ability to swing that fence post
Okay.
so they can get through. And you see there's a walkway all along the side of this fence.
Chad, why don't they just get grapple shots then?
I've actually intercepted them cutting the fence myself, and I got the one finger wave because it pissed them off.
Can you do
But-
anything being sheriff or
The only thing I can
Border
do is
Patrol
if
has
they
to do it?
Border Patrol has to do it. Arizona had
What about a ladder?
1070 law, and that allowed us to charge an individual for smuggling. But the Obama administration sued the state of Arizona, took them to court. Supreme Court said, yes, you're right. Federal responsibility is immigration. Smuggling is part of that. So Arizona, you cannot charge a person for smuggling. So if we detain anybody for just an immigration violation, technically we can get charged by the Department of Justice for kidnapping. Figure that one out. Even if our officers respond to a domestic violence call and we find a house full of individuals that are in there, there's nothing that we can charge that person with knowing that they are smuggling. Now, we can try to get a hold of Border Patrol if they have people to respond, but that's in Yuma.
Guys,
All the rest of the
I'm
place.
trying to watch this video. Because I don't know if there's misinformation or lying. I don't know.
Throughout the country, they don't
I'm
have
thinking
access
at face
to
value
Border
for now,
Patrol
but
or
I don't know.
HSI to come take the case.
What's the number one nationality you're seeing these days? Or
Right
the top
now,
three?
I think the top ones is Ecuador, and then Colombia.
What's up with all the trees?
Have you heard of that other than Mexicans?
Yeah, they've used that for years. Other than Mexican, that's what all these are. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of individuals from Mexico proper trying to come across because they'll get returned immediately because there's that agreement with the country. So
They're
when
farming
you look
it.
at people talking about Title 42, that's where they're able to send individuals back to those countries. 95% of what comes across into Yuma is Title 8. These are individuals that are coming from countries where that government won't take them back.
Are the cartels operating much on this side of the border? In
Oh,
Yuma,
yeah.
are you dealing with them?
They're on both sides. It's safer for them to live over
Wait,
here.
they don't even, so where did they go
Think
then?
about it. So you do have members of the cartel that live in the U.S. all along the border. You have sicarios that live on the U.S. side.
Sicarios.
Hitmen.
Okay.
Those are what the cartels use to take out their opponents, let's say. So you have
Hello,
major
Mr. Cow. This is my
narcotics
city and was raised
groups
here for
all
18
through the-
years.
Okay.
The crime rate is so bad and a majority of the crimes committed is kidnapping. They take kidnapped over that border and they are gone. It really is a big issue
US
in my
MS-13
city.
is one that everybody's familiar with hearing with. Well, that's why they're integrated in all these communities because they work with the cartels, not only the narcotics side, but the human side as well. Because if you can't afford to pay the cartel, then you are going to pay them in another way. Human trafficking. So they're going to pay according to what the cartel wants. So if you got a kid, they may use that kid to smuggle in other people, send them back to that country, bring in somebody else, portray a family unit. You may end up
Portray a
with,
family unit, because if you come in as a family unit,
you have quicker access to get into the U.S. So we're coming up on the Kokopah
Just
tribal land.
realized that I've been following
And
this
in
account for 5 years
Arizona,
now.
tribal
lurking
land is
over
sovereign
longer.
land.
Thanks
And the
for all the
Kokopah
good
is
times
a
over
river,
the years,
the river
man.
people.
I don't have as
Yo,
much
yo.
time to watch as I
Oh, there's
used
what
to,
wants, let me
but
forget
will
about that.
always
Sorry, chat,
remember
is that-
watching Overwatch while procrastinating on college essays xQcl.
See what I'm saying?
So they need access to the river because that's part of their.
so on their tribal land, there's no
Chat,
fence.
how much?
There's no
how
fence.
much is
There
this
are
fence anyway?
bollards, or we call them Normandy barriers, and that's used to keep the individuals that were smuggling narcotics
Okay.
from coming across in vehicles and
32 months,
UTVs.
32 missed
But
assignments.
again,
Pac-Man.
here's the porta johns that we had to do. Border Patrol had to put up a cover for shade.
So this is for migrants coming in?
Yep.
Wait,
So to give you an idea
What?
of the monstrosity that we were dealing with here, this was all covered in trash. Some NGOs have come in and cleaned this up.
wait, I'm
But
so
what I would
confused.
find down here is all these identification cards and
Because I don't get it, chat. Chat, this line is for legal or illegal immigration. I don't get it.
passports. I picked all these up myself,
Just in the dirt out here?
just on the ground. And we might find some again today. But see, these are individuals that have fled countries of violence, then gone to another country, been allowed to
Sometimes
stay
you have
there.
to watch and
That's what a
listen
lot of these
instead of
green ones
reacting
are.
to chat and asking
They've
us
been allowed to
stupid
reside in those
questions we
countries
don't
and
know.
work and live.
-5, but goddamn, just pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
That's not what their
I'm
original
done pausing
intent
then. Fuck
was.
it.
The original intent was to get through that country to get to the United States. So they discard their passports, their ID cards, and they portray themselves as somebody different from their original country of violence. So it's a game. So we share all this with HSI. So every one of these have been shared with our federal government. But this is just a small snapshot of what I've picked up down here as far
So-
as passports.
If you're from Venezuela, right? Let me try to walk through this, right? You come over, you come up through Mexico, right? You want to discard your passport before you come over?
Yeah, because everything's given to you here.
Okay, what happens
You're
if you
gonna-
if you come over with your passport?
Oh
They're
my
gonna
god, sorry.
say
Excuse me, excuse me.
Well, for some now, they're allowed to stay.
some are allowed to stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some
But
bad, sorry.
those
My coworker.
individuals have already reestablished residency somewhere else,
So maybe it's a Venezuelan that lived in Mexico for 5 years
or a year,
or a year. Okay.
and their ultimate goal was to get here.
So somebody,
Right.
somebody pulls up and they're about to immigrate illegally, and they sit in the shade in some fucking, dude, and dude.
I read a lot
what
of the Haitians that came in, say this last summer or whenever that was in the last year.
Yeah.
A lot of them had lived in Chile or other places, not even Haiti,
Oh yeah.
and they recently came up, but they haven't even been in Haiti for a long time.
No.
Okay, so here's
So-
where it ends.
So here's where the fencing ends, and this is the tribal land, as you can see. So you have the Kokopah tribal land, which is sacred, sovereign land. You get some border challenge coins. Look right here. See what I was telling you about? They tossed their money. So this is all.
I understand that the goal isn't to kill them, of course not. That'd be fucked up. But at the end of the day, I mean, these people are making a trek there, right? It's like if I went to fucking to Mount Everest wearing shorts and fucking t-shirt, be like, wow, it's freezing out here, man. Well, I know it's gonna be freezing up there.
all money. They know when they get here, they're going to be able to.
Here's a euro.
Yeah. So
Look at
go
that.
No.
ahead and pick them up.
We have a euro.
Don't throw it back down. Keep it.
What is that?
I'll put it in my
That's a
package.
peso. You're a coin collector.
North
Korea.
Korean
Well, I use it for
analogy.
display purposes. So
What coins have you seen? Like, what are the most far out there coins?
well, I'm waiting to find something from Russia.
We're looking
So-
for Russian rubles out here
But
on the
see,
border.
anybody I bring down here, well, you missed a bunch. But you see right here, they tear up their IDs. They're still doing it.
Okay.
They'll tear up their identification card because they don't want to get caught.
Chile.
There's some more right there. See, look, you're missing a lot of money.
More euros.
Yo, what do you bring a metal
is
detector
crazy.
up in this?
When I bring
What
people,
a wild. I mean, you're used to it, but what a wild part of the world. We're right here.
To which
Yuma
there's some
County.
splits.
Then
good
the
one
natives
train.
control this land.
right?
We have euros in the dirt,
Yeah.
and
we're
Russians
just-
and 140
Good one.
nationalities getting through here some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah. Here's some more right here. Look.
50 bucks.
See? More IDs.
Yo,
Torn
50
apart.
bone
Okay,
skis.
so they
Now,
just
if you
click-
put this
they click
together-
the IDs.
See, if you put this together,
Yo, 50
have
macaroons.
all the information you
Straight
need.
up.
So why do they do it right on the border? Why don't they just do it like way in there?
Lord only knows.
Toothbrushes.
Yeah.
It's all 50 pesos.
So it's not an eco-friendly bunch, but that's the last thing on their minds. Obviously, trying to get into
Yeah, they
another
don't care.
country.
I mean, you look at some of this trash. I can show you pictures where all of this is just covered in trash. This whole area. But luckily, an NGO came along and cleaned it up because they knew senators were coming. And because the senators are coming, you got to sanitize before they get here to make it look like there's not really a big issue.
Because you come here now and you're like, yeah, there's no issue. There's no one trying to get over.
Yeah.
But you're saying it pulses. Like you have the tent set up there. You had a big rush here. Now it's somewhere else.
Guys, it might sound dumb, but why, if there's a gate over here, why don't they just walk right there? Why don't they just walk over?
Saying it pulses. Like you have the tent set up there. You had a big rush here. Now it's somewhere else.
Now it's moved.
We had the guy that we ran into down there, obviously.
Yeah.
This guy's got a full ID here.
Oh, look, there's all kinds of them right here.
This guy's from China.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to be devil's advocate for 1 second. Ready? Ready?
right ahead.
Just go along with me here.
All right.
We're a country of immigrants.
Right.
We all came from somewhere.
Right.
And we need immigration. We have,
Correct.
You know, we need a workforce.
Okay.
Chad, do you think that maybe
We need
his social
brains,
credits
we need
kind of
talent,
tanked too
we need
hard?
work. But like you said before, there's a threshold. Like how much can you take? And everyone has a threshold. As
One
in, like,
bad
they're living in
TikTok
their
is all it
house,
takes.
Right.
and if all of a sudden they had 300 people show up on their front lawn, they would have reached their threshold, right? So what is that threshold? Maybe that's the big question, which nobody can really agree on, right?
Well, you have these electeds, and all you hear is, we need to fix our immigration. We need to fix our immigration laws, right? Why don't we have a change in the immigration laws? Because they can't get together on it. So what do? They create a crisis to take your mind off of the fact that they can't do their job.
What's the crisis?
immigration, COVID, you name it.
There's another euro.
Oh, cool.
Did you ever see as many euros down here? Euro coins?
Oh,
or is that a new thing?
No, I got. Oh, look.
This is gonna make me
little
aware.
ID. Nigeria? Where's that one?
Peru.
McLovin.
Oh, look, more.
Jesus.
City Pizzazz.
Holy fuck,
See?
it's Wrangler.
They don't.
So do they find it easier over here, obviously?
50
Oh, yeah, you can look across
Pizzazskis.
here. Look, here's some more. It's blowing right at you.
It's snowing currency.
You know how much?
Too bad this isn't worth anything.
Well, over there it is.
So the Cocoa Pop fence is just to show that's where the border. Obviously, that doesn't stop anything.
Well, that was actually put into place to deter the tractor thefts and the stolen vehicles that were being stolen here, taken into Mexico. The tractors were obviously sold to other farmers down deep in Mexico, but the cars were turned into smuggling vehicles, and then they would drive back across with large loads of narcotics. So that's why all that was put into place. It was like a vehicle barrier, but it didn't deter the tribe's ability to get to the river. Now that we're down here towards Gadsden and San Luis,
What about a tunnel?
welcome to Jurassic Park. So please keep your hands and your limbs inside the vehicle at all times, because I don't want you to
You have a
Dinosaurs.
garage door opener for the fence?
for
Is
the
that what's
fence.
going on here?
For the gate, yeah.
This is still the U.S., right?
Yeah, this is all U.S.
Okay.
Welcome to Mexico. Like I'm going to be carrying guns into Mexico. They'd love that right now.
So what do we have here? Burnt wire? What's the point of that?
Well, they were keeping warm, so they burned anything that they could find.
Isn't setting a fire here just like a basic sign that you're here and the...
Well, they got a camera right there, so they know. But they're just waiting for Border Patrol to have the resources to come pick them up. What was that
Wait.
right there?
Yeah.
It's like an infinite
Cuba?
We're going to work
game
on
of cat
your
and
powers
mouse.
of observation.
I know, but this is the hard
but
deets.
You're supposed
Oh,
to
Game
do
of
that.
attrition
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
I forgot. I'm your
You know,
Trevette.
you-
Yeah, you're Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm Trevette. How does it make you feel though, seeing this every day? Do you become numb, or does it dishearten you because you
Well,
love your
it's-
country, or what does that feel like
Your
for
body-
I
you?
feel
like-
bad for the rest of the country because we're all going to have to deal with this. Your community is going to pay the price for what this administration is doing on not enforcing the rule of law. The bottom line is, to enter this country legally, you have to go to a port of entry. Claim asylum at a port of entry. That is the law. I get the fact that a lot of the politicians don't like the immigration law. Well, fix it and change it. But until then, you need to enforce the rule of law. It worked. We've seen it through the prior administration when we were only getting 25 to 40 apprehensions a day
Chat,
in Yuma
Chat, if you haven't done a crime and you're chilling, and you go to the spot, point of entry, do you just get in? You chill?
County proper versus over 1,000 a day now. This administration, because of their
No, okay.
politics and personal and political ideologies, stopped all that because they hate one guy who actually supported law enforcement. And the people of this country need to understand that this is coming into their backyard. This person's going to be in their backyard under a different name, and you don't know what kind of criminal history this guy's got. I've run into doctors, I've run into lawyers from different countries down here, I've run into school teachers. They're straight up with you on why they're coming here. But then you have the others that don't want to be identified and why. Is this a child molester? Is this a murderer? What kind of crimes has he done in that country that he fled? That's a question that anybody in public safety would want to know. But yet, because of the policies of this administration, we're probably never going to know until it's too late, because somebody's going to get hurt.
All right.
That's what's great about being sheriffs in rural areas. When you've worked in that community for so long, they know you. It's one thing that I tell every officer that goes through an academy. Never, ever in your career compromise your integrity or your ethics, because once you compromise that, you can never get that back. So,
You've been here
is
for how
true. That
long
applies
in
to a
law
lot of things.
enforcement?
well, I started as a reserve when I was in the Marine Corps back in 1985. For all you mathematicians out there, how many years was that?
We're coming up on almost 40.
38?
In 2 years,
39?
yeah.
We're given a gift of being able to go out and do something that's going to help somebody else. So I enjoy the fact that I can go out and do things that most careers don't allow you to do.
Like,
Okay, see, these are field workers?
No, these are illegals.
Seriously?
Yes.
Can we cruise by them?
Yeah, we're gonna. So the cartels are collecting their money down here under this bridge. So that bridge is actually in Mexico, but there is nothing between us and there other than this fence.
Wow. So they're super casual and look like
Yeah.
they're walking off to school or the
You
park
got
or
men,
something.
women, children, infants.
So you wave to them.
Why not?
So you have a decent relationship with these people
Well,
coming
I'm not
in.
here to. Doesn't matter where they're from.
Yeah.
We still have a duty and responsibility as far as public
Jeez.
safety goes. Some of these people have been victimized. The children have been taken to our child facilities because they were violated along their trek to get here. You don't know what's happened to them or where they're from. You're welcome to talk to them if
Okay,
you want
yeah.
to. Find out where they're from and where they're going.
Yeah, yeah. Hola. ¿De dónde eres? Ecuador? Colombia? Buenos días. Buenos días.
Ecuador,
Colombia?
Colombia, where are you going in the U.S.?
California? New York?
California? Huh?
New York. But don't do this anymore. No more. No más Estados Unidos. Por favor. Por favor. Gracias. Buena suerte.
Another one.
what did he say?
Can you zoom in right under the bridge?
My,
on that
my
car?
man says,
Okay.
por favor, what's face?
Well, that's where they'll meet up with the cartels, and then they'll point them in the direction.
So the cartels are
How to get over.
right there.
Yeah.
Do they ever fire over the border?
Oh yeah. We actually had some individuals, border patrols, doing special detail.
What did he say?
Because we're having a bunch of kidnappings going on out here, because the criminal element over
Good
there in
luck,
Mexico
Kim.
knows that these folks have money. So as the cartels, we got them across, another criminal group will come in and kidnap them to take all their money and their jewelry. So border patrol was doing special details down here and got in an actual shootout with the bad guys. One died in the U.S. soil, so he ended up in our mortuary. But that happens down here quite a bit along this area because it's so lucrative. I mean, it's a cash crop per se.
Every one of these people in their eyes is what, $6,000,
Yeah,
$7,000,
so
$8,000.
It's quick money.
The cartels don't want to mess with you, correct? Like they
No.
wouldn't fire a bullet over.
Oh, they probably would.
Should we get in the car?
I mean, it's something we live with every day. Trust me, if they start shooting at me, I'm shooting back because that's still the U.S. And they know that local law enforcement doesn't tolerate it. If you get caught over here, you're going to jail, period. They already know that here, and they know that over there. The feds might let them get away with it, but local law enforcement will not. So, yeah.
I'll tell these people there's some water over here.
This guy, dude.
Amigos, agua. Okay, you got.
Okay,
This place will
guy
be
think
full
he's-
of people. They usually
thi-
have them come
this
over in
video guy
large
is
groups, and here's
kinda-
why they do that. They will inundate Border Patrol with large groups of individuals that are give-ups.
Bro, think he
So
Batman or
it
something.
ties up
he
Border
just-
Patrol's resources from the field and takes them away from out east so they can get their narcotics and the other human smuggling for those that don't want to get caught across the border.
So yeah, the clothes, like new white clothes. The backpack looks pretty new, not dirty. They didn't do a hard journey.
No.
And so how it works is if you get over, right, you're gonna call back home and you're gonna say to your friends or relatives, gonna be saying,
Well, so what happens with these
hey,
guys?
here's how you do it. It's pretty easy right
Chad, so what
now.
did they do? Did you sit there?
It just encourages more.
Yeah. They're coming here to better their life. I get that. But they need to do it the legal way. I'm also a public safety servant. Anybody
What's
in
up?
my county,
Yeah. Yeah.
Switch the heat to off.
Yeah, off, yeah. Yeah, yeah. See you tomorrow. Peace out, man. Yeah, now this is my colleague. He's gonna clock out, and he has to go punch out. So he's to take the Amazon puncher downstairs, and you put the slip, and you go. You can go home. I can't go home. We're sending shit for 3 days, so I think I'll be out of here.
we respond to help. We've handled over 780 911 calls from immigrants that were left abandoned out in our remote desert. needing help.
780 last year, or what?
Yeah. If we end up with somebody that has a medical condition down here, that takes away that EMS resource from that community to handle this down here. Federal government isn't reimbursing them. Our deputies working on overtime, much like the rest of local law enforcement, try to fill the gap for Border Patrol because they're tied up with this. We've taken over 70 death investigations out in the remote desert because people died out there because they were abandoned by the cartels.
Jesus. Chat, why did they put barbed wire at this exact
You're
position?
right here in San
Chat,
Luis, Arizona.
Chat,
That's San
Chat, wouldn't be the spot you would never, if you were to cross over, why would you go to the most secure gate entrance? So why put barbed wire at the spot where it's like to be the hardest to go in anyway?
You're right here in San Luis, Arizona. That's San Luis, Mexico, right across the fence. So what the cartels will do is they will have a large buildup of individuals that don't want to get caught. They will utilize those ladders to get up the fence and cross over. Border Patrol has to respond to try to catch them. But
Wait.
unfortunately, you're so close to the housing areas.
Brother, the ladders are still there? The ladders are right there. What the fuck is this? Hello?
Respond to try to catch them. But unfortunately, you're so close to the housing areas that they don't catch them all. So they do end up in these neighborhoods, and that's part of the impact on
the other side.
local community.
How do these neighborhoods feel?
Yeah, but
Well, they don't care
you get one guy in, he just carries all the ladders back to the slit.
for that. They don't want it in their backyard any more than you'd want somebody running into yours.
But there are probably some stash
They're
houses
not.
out here, right?
Oh, there are. I mean, right up here is the old Kentucky Fried Chicken building, where we had the most recent drug tunnel identified.
Drug tunnel
Drug tunnel.
into the Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Yeah. So it came up into the kitchen,
The drug tunnel went under the fence.
under the canal. Kentucky Fried Chicken had sold the building to another guy. It was owned privately because a guy was going to turn it into another restaurant.
Okay, so it was in between ownership. It wasn't operating at that time.
Right. So they built a tunnel under all this infrastructure. And they ended up tunneling up to the kitchen area, and it was a small opening because it was all hard narcotics. So we're talking fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methadone.
So no one-
Yo, Los Pollos, hello? Yo, look at it. Look.
Hard narcotics.
Look.
So we're talking fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methadone.
So no one was crawling through it. It was
Oh, they
just,
were. They were crawling all the way up, but the hole in the floor was small.
Do you think they'll make it to the Pizza Hut this year?
Huh.
Hard to say.
They're quite ambitious. So it could
man.
happen.
You got to be one heck of an engineer to be able to plot depth and everything else
Come on,
to get all the
man.
way over there to here. That's millions of dollars. And you see that pinkish style building up there?
Yeah.
Right across the street was an old postal type business. Not U.S. Postal, but a packaging company. That's where the other tunnel came across, is right up
What
there.
kind of watch is that?
So it went underneath all that up there.
So what percentage of tunnels do you think are not getting discovered that are currently in operation?
I'm sure there's quite a few.
Plenty of them, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Right
an
now, a
AP, you
big thing
fucking
for us down
dumbass.
here dealing with is drones. You got a drone that can carry a few
Oh,
pounds.
that's what I just got?
Fentanyl doesn't weigh much, right? So you can get a big old package of fentanyl, have a drone come across, and
this?
they're GPS controlled to a certain location, and they'll drop it in a neighborhood, and then they'll fly back.
And just so you guys all know, sheriffs can speak openly, unlike most
Holy.
police officers,
Holy.
unlike Customs and Border
That's
Protection,
right.
they cannot speak on camera, correct?
No.
Like they're not going to speak like you do.
No, they have to get authorization from, like chiefs of police, they have to get authorization
just
from
kidding.
their council and their city managers.
And they're going to speak political speak, double speak. They're not really going to tell the true story because that could jeopardize their employment. Whereas sheriffs, you're not accountable to anybody. Is that correct? Is that the story?
I'm accountable to the people I work for, and that's the community of Yuma.
And one of the very cool things about the United States is you can do a ride along. Like technically this is a ride along. I go to the sheriff's office, I can fill out paperwork, and I can ride with the sheriff
Yeah.
to understand what you guys do.
And you can do that with your local law enforcement police department too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Why are you
You
doing
know?
with 2 rifles?
And I
There's
would
only one
encourage
guy.
people to do that. I will tell you what, I've got over 100 volunteers that work for my agency. These are folks that are retired, that wanted something to do to give back to their communities. So I have a number of volunteers that go through our academy, that are armed, that go out into this desert and do proactive
Loadout.
patrols. They work with our search and rescue group. They grab a patrol car and they go out and they help us with neighborhood watch. It's all about being involved in your community.
Well, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm gonna head east, just so you know where we're going. Oh, do you? Okay. Slow so far?
Switching weapons, fast and reloading, yeah. I can think of like 100 reasons why you could have
So
2 guns.
here we
in
go,
this.
double fence.
Yep. See 2 lights up, right?
2 lights, yeah.
All the rest of these didn't get put up with the cameras because this administration stopped it. Now you have this, Highway 2, and this, no gate.
So how are they getting over this one? They can get over with a ladder. That takes a little time. Then they have to get that ladder over, and then they have to,
Well, really, you just shimmy down that.
you shimmy down,
Yeah,
and then you'd have to get another ladder set up here, which would take time, or you can just go
which
through
would
the...
allow Border Patrol to get here, but there is no gate.
Okay.
So, how much does that make sense?
What?
It's the smoothest dirt road I've been on.
It's because you're in a Raptor. My search and rescue is out here with these because regular 4-wheel drives, they just get beat up. You get beat up because it's not all smooth, as you'll see. When I cut up through Smuggler's Pass, it gets a little rough.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, this spot is gonna chill. Jump! Oh! Hey,
That was
yo!
This is a well-known area where individuals are brought up because you can cross right here.
So here we have the trail going right up, and this is the border. When they get to the U.S. side here, this is pretty tough going, huh? There's nothing over here.
It's 2 to 3 days walking directly north from here to get to any kind of civilization. And
Oh,
unfortunately,
my.
this is where we end up with people dying, is because they've been led to believe that it's only a little ways. You don't have to carry a lot. You don't have to have a lot of food, a lot of water. And you're going through a bombing range. This is where the military
what?
trains, and they do live fire. There's a lot of unexploded ordnance and everything else that's out here.
So the cartels have already got their money. When they get the people, the migrants to here, they've done their job, right?
Yeah.
They got their money, so they don't care if they die in the U.S. side?
No, it's a commodity. It's not a human life.
So you're
Are
saying...
those people up here?
Is it
Those are people.
what?
Where?
Right here.
Oh, jeez.
Wait.
How you guys doing? Came from India, Mumbai, Dehradun, Gujarati.
This guy for
Chicago. That's where you're going? Chicago? What'd you do in India?
Congress leader, Congress party's worker.
Congress Party worker. Okay. You flying to Mexicali?
No, Mexico.
No, fly.
Were they
Is it
on a
gonna
bus?
Chill?
Were you on a bus?
I don't get it. From India to where to where?
Yeah, boy.
Yep.
With a group of 9
They
from
do what?
India.
India, Mexico, and an in Mexico.
Well,
I don't.
I wonder if there was a smuggler who was supposed to pick them up out there, but
It might be.
that's kind of strange. I wonder if it's because they extended Title 42, but India is not a Title 42 nation.
No, it's not. They're Title 8, so I don't know why they came in through here. Usually they're down by the river.
Maybe they paid the wrong people.
Well, What's up, brother?
How you doing, sir?
Good, you?
Not too bad.
Yeah, they were just walking down the road. It was like,
Yeah, they called 911 a whole bunch of times. So.
oh, they have?
How you doing, sir?
Living the dream, right?
How you doing, sir? Peter.
Bro,
Luis,
that
nice to
equipment looks fucking heavy as shit.
Usually they'll shoot like a group like this through here, and then through 195 they'll try to
Give
have,
another one
like-
across?
Yeah, I got on all.
So it's all about tying up you guys.
Yes, sir.
There you go. These folks were sitting here constantly down 911 to get picked up. So cartels exploiting Border Patrol resources by having them do that out here to get their other product through back where we were before.
What people or drugs?
Both. And what better way to do it than having a group 30 miles out in the middle
Oh,
of
man,
nowhere
what the
where you
fuck?
know that public safety is a priority.
Chat,
Human
chat,
life.
chat. If this is 5 to chat, guys, the criminal metas for like smugglers is insanely elaborate. We saw a video last time with the turtles, with the submarines, with the drones. Bro,
priority.
it's insane, dude.
They're going to play
Nights
off of
coming,
that.
they'd
The
freeze up.
torpedoes,
So it's all part of the game. And
the
I'm
turtle.
sure the cartel
Wait,
is
you hear
over
about the
there.
turtle meta? Bro, they strap cocaine on the turtle and they let it migrate. And the turtle migrates and they know where they rotate in the ocean and they smuggle through fucking turtles that are served with cocaine, yo.
Here somewhere, watching, because the highway is right there.
Isn't that fucking insane? I'm not even lying, you can Google it.
I'll help you out. Look,
It's not even a reference, it's true, it's a real thing.
pull this one out. Go like this, see? There you go. Pull the other one out.
Why do they take the laces out? Just so they,
Well, you can use them for,
whatever, yeah.
yeah. So you got to make sure they don't have any knives, guns, narcotics.
So they obviously have money. They had the money to fly from India. They're all wearing new clothes. They flew up, paid the cartels.
Right.
The doctor gave you that? Okay, yeah, you can go. No, put it in the bag. Keep that out. In the bag. You can keep the medical stuff separate. Whenever we take you to our processing center, since either your wife or yourself is gonna stay with the kids. So I need you.
Have you seen many guys from India coming recently?
To be honest with you, all nationalities. To answer your question, yes, but they're all nationalities.
But you're insured. You can't really talk to me much, can you?
No, you can talk to a PAO.
Or the sheriff.
Yeah, sure.
So what you're watching is Border Patrol. No, you can still do your B-roll.
Okay.
I'm just explaining what they're doing. So that device that he
Damn.
has looks like a cell
Content
phone.
director over here, boys.
Is they're actually taking a picture
Yo,
of their
back the
passport,
fuck up.
and that integrates all that information from that passport into Border Patrol system. And they're also taking a picture of the tag for that person's property. By the time they get to Border Patrol station, their info is already in their system at their station. And that's why I kind of made a hint that they're almost turned into TSA agents, because that's what happens at an airport when you get on a plane. They take a picture of your passport, run it through the system, then you move on your way.
Mission accomplished for them, though. They're in now. They're going to have an asylum hearing, whether it's right or wrong, in
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 years. If it's not a legitimate asylum, they're just going to dodge it and disappear into the country. If it is, then they'll get asylum papers and be good.
Well, do you
Wait,
know who this ain't fair to?
wait, so they show up, they get told, yo, dude, you may or may not be illegal, but you're gonna get a court date in 3 years from now, stay in the country. And then maybe they don't show up to that hearing, maybe they do.
Is the ones that are going through the
All
process
right.
legally.
Well,
they're
that
still
sounds
waiting.
fucking expensive.
This is not helping them at all. But yet they're going through the legal motions, and they're just being pushed aside because of this.
If you do it the right way, it's going to take years, many years.
But yeah.
So this is the only way to do it and save
Fast
this
track.
lifetime.
Yeah.
And this is what's never explained, is that they'll have sort of a temporary status. And
This is Unity. That's not how it works. Well, how does it work then? I asked a question. I'm watching the video, yeah.
until the asylum court hearing date, which is going to
watching the
be
video.
years out, if it's not a legitimate claim, which most of them aren't, over 70% aren't, then they're not going to show up. and they're going to be in the United States, sort of in this in-between status forever, like actually in an illegal status. Now, if their asylum claim is real, it's legitimate, it will go through the courts, they'll be processed, and then on their pathway to a U.S. citizen eventually.
Right.
So that's how it works, and that's what we're never explained to.
1 out of 10
1 out of 10, you're saying, okay.
is roughly what the numbers were before. I would imagine when you got 2 point some odd million last year that came across like this, it might be less than that.
2 million?
Because the customs helicopter inaccurate.
They get a heli ride?
This makes sense now. They got through this little gap
Yeah,
because the fence on the other side is
you
super
can dig
small.
under it.
But it's even like an easy ladder could get over it, right?
Well, you don't even need a ladder for this one.
Oh, you just dig right under.
You can dig right under it. I'll show you a place where, when we get up here, where the wash is undercut underneath.
So if the fence was in that spot right there, there's no way they'd get through.
No, they'd still
'Cause
be
that's
walking down the middle.
Because that's a family. Like it
Yeah.
seemed like a, I mean, who knows?
But if
Nice-
they were looking at walking
Jesus.
all the way up, you're talking a minimum of 2 days.
So how many border patrol guys here?
Well-
Say on this last 10 miles we've been on the fence.
Just those two.
Just those two.
Yeah. See how they can just walk right through over there?
Okay, yeah, let's take
Okay,
a look.
that. So they can just walk through that one. Huh?
Just walk over here and you're good to go.
Right. And you can tell it's being used. You can tell by the tracks, the blanket on the ground.
Yeah,
Chat.
that's easy.
I don't mean to be weird, Jack. It's an actual question, Jack. Why don't they just bring a bicycle? They can just bike through this fucking thing, no?
The
Far away from
coyotes
the
can
highway,
literally just drop them right here and say walk over and call 911.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's what we're dealing with.
That's why the kids' shoes were wider and cleaner than mine.
Yeah.
Guys, 3 days walk is about half a day of biking.
I'm taking you is where a lot of them come up, and they're told to follow this mountain range.
Oh, look at the fence going up the mountain there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Because
oh
we've
no, that map is
experienced
insane.
Through past administrations and their
Fuck all that.
policies, uptick in smuggling happening through these desert
See that?
areas. There's been a number of these stations that have been put out by Border Patrol. So all you got to do is push that red button, and rescue would come.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Because in the summer, how hot is this?
It can get up to 115, ambient air temperature maybe 120, but the ground temperature will be probably 134.
So
Guys,
is the
1 hour
traffic
doesn't
relaxed
seem
a
that
lot,
bad
the
at all.
border, the crossings a lot in the summer? It's more of a wintertime thing?
Not really. They just come across at night, and then they hold up during the day.
So right now, because it's cooler, it's
Well,
winter,
they're out in
going
dumb
during the
fuck
day.
During the
nowhere.
day. And they'll still hold up in the washes and try to stay warm at night.
Yo, for how big the border is, Motherfucker, and how large the map is, 1 hour seems pretty reasonable, no?
This is the El Camino del Diablo, one of the passes where individuals will traverse across the border.
So the scouts live in Mexico and just come back and forth all the time? And
Oh, they stay
Yo,
up in the mountains.
Yo, dude, this guy is like bugging today. Bro, you're built like cilantro oil. You're built like cinnamon bark oil. You're built like chili oil. You're built like cardamom oil. You're built like some fucking carrot oil, bro. Tell me why you're built like a fucking camphor oil, bro. Bro. Yo. Seed oil. Date seed oil. Guys, this guy just, like, look at this guy. What the fuck is this?
For what, weeks?
Oh, yeah. And groups that come across bring food and water and whatever else they need. They find a location up in the mountains where they can monitor
What
and
is
have
that?
radio access because they carry radios with them. They carry solar panels with them when they get up there. And that's how they get paid, is by each group that gets through. So they run like a tally book.
All right, guys, it's almost the end of the daylight hours. Unfortunately, we didn't get
It's gonna
back
get cold
into
like
Yuma.
crazy.
That was the goal, right? To show the hospital?
It was. Well, for you it was.
Okay.
I mean, anybody can shoot a hospital.
Okay, the story of the hospital, though. You had something to say.
Well, when you look at the ancillary impacts that a community has, part of that is the fact that Yuma County, 310,000 people came through here, give-ups. So we have one hospital that services all of Yuma County. It was a $23 million impact on their operations, having to deal with illegal immigrants that had to come into the hospital to be treated for anything from dialysis to health issues that they had brought with them that were never treated, down to the fact that it was even impacting the neonatal ICU. The hospital had to cancel appointments because they were overloaded with dealing with the immigrant crisis, and the hospital was not getting reimbursed at all from the federal government. Now you wonder why your hospital bill is so big. Is because the hospital has to share that cost with you as a consumer to fill that gap. So you're looking at tying up not only your law enforcement resources, because we're out here having to fill that gap.
Okay. Bro is waffling. Yo, what is Waffle House? Yo, what the fuck is he saying?
Well, you're tying up EMS from different communities. You're tying up the hospital in bed space that the local community cannot now utilize because they're busy taking care of this issue. And with the federal government saying that it's their responsibility.
Guys, is he saying, Jay, that the offset of the costs is impacting the fucking multi-hundreds of billions of dollars industry? Because of this one $5 million thing?
Well, put away your personal and political rhetoric and your innuendos. Get down to business, pay your bills. I'm average eating about 1.2 million a year in housing illegals that have committed state crimes and get reimbursed 5 cents on the dollar.
Okay, so Yuma County has to eat that cost.
Every citizen in Yuma has to eat that cost. Remember, every one of these persons that are coming in and impacted.
Reactive current for use in unilateral phase detractors, but would also be capable of automatically synchronizing cardinal gram meters. Such an
our resources are now going into the interior of the United States. They're coming to your neighborhood, they're coming to your county, and it's going to be, it's no longer a border crisis, it's a nation crisis.
It's definitely a crisis.
It is.
That's the feel down here. Well, Sheriff, thank you.
Pleasure.
That was awesome. I'm going to finish this video on the top of these rocks.
Well, you have fun. If you fall, I might catch you.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
There's a radio up here.
Bro, what did I do? Why is it so
handheld with an antenna and a solar panel?
Oh, hang on.
What is this small thing? What did I say, man? What did I say? I'm watching a video, man.
For it. Yeah.
That's 20 years camera.
Yeah, it's not a radio, it's a repeater.
All right, guys, want to close on a few final thoughts here. That was an absolutely unbelievable, just bizarre, crazy experience today, and I can't even capture it in words or through the camera. Obviously, this is a super political topic. It has been forever. It's been used as leverage by each party, but no matter where you stand on this thing, it is a humanitarian crisis. It is very serious. It is unsustainable. I can definitely.
This guy says this was well done. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Guys, I'm always some basic criticism. This is a good video. I think it was done okay. I wish some of
the lights, Mr. Bezos will appear behind you.
Say that. And even if, say, you're the most pro-open border person in the world, where there should be no borders and everyone should be everywhere, you'd be horrified by this.
Yeah, it was done like okay. I give them probably better than this. So you know nothing. That's why I watch a video that tells me about it. Except the video is kind of loaded with like a bunch of like,
Happy
weird
56
dialogue and
months,
shit.
brother,
And
miss
that,
you.